Welcome back to Venture Onward. Today I plan to talk about the tie-in story of the Spider-Man 2 video game that is set in Gamers Verse. It's an interesting take on the franchise as it continues the story of Peter, Miles, and MJ when not playing the game. Well, let's get started. Mary Jane Watson sat across from J. Jonah Jameson in the podcast studio, a faint smile playing on her lips. She was here to promote her new book, a comprehensive documentation of the war in Symkaria. Unfortunately, the book hadn't been selling as well as she had hoped, and she had turned to Jameson's podcast as a means to reach a wider audience. Unfortunately, the book hadn't been selling as well as she had hoped, and she had turned to Jameson's podcast as a means to reach a wider audience. As the interview began, Jameson couldn't resist the urge to self-promote and reminisce about his glory days in journalism. He subtly implied that Mary Jane wasn't cut out for the profession, causing her to bristle with annoyance. She had always admired Jameson's tenacity and dedication to reporting the truth, but now he seemed like nothing more than an old man spouting nonsense and fear-mongering. Unable to hold back any longer, Mary Jane spoke up, her voice laced with determination. "You know, Jameson, you used to be a great journalist. But lately, it seems like you've lost your way. You're so focused on sensationalism and stirring up controversy that you've forgotten what real journalism is about." Jameson's face turned red, and he opened his mouth to respond, but before he could utter a word, the interview was abruptly interrupted. The sound of crashing and shattering glass filled the room as two figures swung through the window, locked in a fierce battle. It was Spider-Man and his young apprentice, Miles Morales, battling against the formidable tarantula. The chaos caused Jameson to panic, his bravado fleeing in the face of actual danger. He quickly fled the scene, leaving Mary Jane and the superheroes to deal with the situation. They managed to subdue the tarantula and bring the fight to a halt, but the damage was done. Later that evening, in Peter Parker's house, a place he had inherited from Aunt May after her passing, the two heroes gathered to discuss their personal struggles. Mary Jane expressed her disappointment with the lackluster performance of her book, while Peter shared his frustrations about trying to obtain a teaching degree to secure a new job. He was struggling to make ends meet, particularly with the burden of the mortgage left by Aunt May, who had taken out a loan to keep the F.E.A.S.T. center open during the events of the first game. Feeling the weight of their individual challenges, Peter mustered the courage to propose that Mary Jane move in with him. He longed for the companionship and the financial relief it would bring. However, Mary Jane gently turned him down, citing her job requirements in Manhattan and emphasizing that her decision had nothing to do with their relationship. Despite her explanation, Peter couldn't help but take it to heart, his disappointment palpable. Their conversation was interrupted by the arrival of Miles, who was contemplating his future. He expressed his desire to attend college but struggled to choose a major. The trio decided to take a break from their troubles and headed to a nearby electronics store to upgrade their gadgets, hoping to regain some of their confidence. To their surprise, they discovered that the store had been broken into. As they cautiously entered, they found themselves face to face with a group of criminals cloaked in dark robes. The ensuing fight was disorienting as the criminals seemed to disappear and reappear at will. It soon became evident that they were using stolen cloaking technology, repurposed from the Tinkerer's cache. Despite their best efforts, the crooks managed to escape, leaving Peter, Mary Jane, and Miles feeling off their game. They couldn't deny that the weight of their personal struggles had affected their performance. Undeterred, the trio tracked the criminals to a jewelry store where they were in the midst of another robbery. Through a display of teamwork and quick thinking, they managed to apprehend the criminals. However, their victory was short-lived as the enigmatic leader of the group, known as the Hood, freed his comrades. The Hood's reputation struck fear in the hearts of Peter and his allies, as they believed he possessed magical powers. Frustrated by their previous failures, Peter questioned his own abilities and admitted to Mary Jane that her rejection had hurt him more than he let on. Mary Jane reassured him, reiterating her reasons for not moving in with him and assuring him that it had nothing to do with their relationship. Peter needed time to come to terms with it. Driven by a newfound determination, Peter and Mary Jane researched the Hood's previous crimes, leading them to a warehouse on the docks. They discovered that the Hood had been committing these crimes to gather money and resources to save his sick mother. His most recent acquisition, the Lifeline tablet, was believed to possess the power to cure her completely. With hope in his eyes, the Hood invoked a spell using the tablet, but to his despair, nothing happened. Just as the Spider-Man arrived and engaged the Hood, his mother interrupted, expressing her desire to pass away peacefully. She revealed that all she truly wanted was to spend quality time with her son during her remaining days, but his stubbornness had prevented it. Realizing the error of his ways, the Hood surrendered himself to the Spider-Man on the condition that he could be with his mother in her final moments. Touched by the Hood's newfound realization, Peter and Miles agreed. In the presence of the Spider-Man, the Hood's mother peacefully passed away, and he surrendered himself to the approaching police officers. Peter, deeply moved by the Hood's story, offered a sincere apology to Mary Jane for his stubborn behavior, acknowledging that he had become no better than the Hood himself. Mary Jane accepted his apology, confessing that the struggling book sales had also taken a toll on her. Meanwhile, Miles had made a decision and announced his plan to major in music technology at ESU. With their burdens shared, the trio began to find solace and strength in one another. Mary Jane, fueled by her earlier encounter with Jameson, walked into the Daily Bugle, unaware that significant changes were about to take place. Jameson was wrapping up a deal to repurchase the Bugle, inspired by Mary Jane's impassioned rant about the importance of real journalism. As they moved forward together, Peter and Mary Jane knew that their personal challenges would continue, but they were determined to face them head-on, drawing strength from their shared love and the support of their friends. An intriguing web of personal struggles and redemption weaves a captivating narrative that delves into the lives of beloved characters Mary Jane Watson, Peter Parker, Spider-Man, and Miles Morales. The story takes readers on a journey through their individual challenges, relationships, and the quest for personal growth. The inclusion of J. Jonah Jameson and his podcast adds an engaging dynamic to the plot. The friction between Mary Jane and Jameson during the interview highlights the stark contrast between their journalistic approaches. It sets the stage for Mary Jane's fiery retort, where she fearlessly calls out Jameson's descent into fear-mongering and sensationalism. This confrontation provides an intriguing glimpse into the evolving world of journalism. The entrance of Spider-Man and Miles Morales battling the formidable tarantula injects the story with adrenaline, escalating the stakes and reminding readers of the heroes' constant struggle to balance their personal lives with their duty to protect the city. The resulting chaos prompts Jameson to flee, showcasing his vulnerability and adding a touch of humor to the scene. The exploration of Mary Jane and Peter's personal challenges forms the emotional core of the story. Mary Jane's disappointment in her book's lackluster sales and Peter's financial struggles highlight the harsh realities they face. Their complex relationship unfolds as Peter proposes that Mary Jane move in with him, only to be met with a gentle rejection. The authenticity of their emotions resonates, portraying the complexities of love and personal aspirations. The introduction of the criminals, clad in cloaks and utilizing stolen cloaking technology, adds an element of mystery and suspense to the story. The subsequent encounters showcase the heroes' vulnerabilities, as they face setbacks and question their own abilities. This layer of imperfection humanizes the characters, making them relatable and sympathetic. The inclusion of the Hood, a criminal leader driven by desperation to save his sick mother, adds depth and moral complexity to the narrative. The revelation of his true motivations challenges the hero's perspectives, leading to a moment of redemption and reflection for Peter. The Hood's surrender and the touching resolution with his mother's passing tug at the heartstrings, showcasing the capacity for growth and compassion within even the most hardened individuals. While the story effectively weaves together personal struggles, relationships, and a touch of magical elements, it occasionally rushes through certain developments. Further exploration of the Hood's backstory and motivations, as well as the impact of Mary Jane's powerful rant on Jameson's decision to repurchase the Bugle, could have added even more depth to the narrative. Overall, an intriguing web of personal struggles and redemption is a compelling tale that explores the multifaceted lives of beloved characters. It masterfully combines action, emotion, and personal growth, captivating readers from start to finish. With well-drawn characters and engaging plot lines, this story leaves fans eagerly anticipating the next chapter in the lives of Mary Jane, Peter, and Miles. Well, that's about it. Thank you for listening. Please subscribe, like, and comment below. Until then, venture onward.